Our friend John, one of the guitarists from local band Between Static and Silence, popped around the other night, so we put a quick video together running through his current pedal board setup. Hope you enjoy it. Right, John, talk us through your board. What have we got? What have you actually talk us through your guitar first? What are you playing today?
Okay, so I'm playing a Fender Telecaster. It's the Light Ash edition. I picked it up before we went into the studio for the EP, and I bought it as a second guitar, just something with different sound on it. It's got the single coils on it, Seymour Duncans. Just thought something would be a bit different if you wanted to fatten up any parts or put in a different sound. And when I started playing it, liked it that much, it's become my main guitar. Probably the only alteration I've made to it since I've had it is I've brought the gauge up to 11s to give a bit of a fat sound when we play some of the heavier parts, but other than that it's stock as it comes. It just plays really, really nice. It's got a lovely tone to it, and it's took over.
Talk to your pedal board then. So you made some changes to this recently, haven't you? What have you changed up on your board from what we can see here now? Okay,
so main changes is underneath, actually, power. I've just changed to use the MXR ISO brick. Yeah. So all of the pedals have got their own isolated power, which has killed board noise completely, which is exactly what I wanted to do, which is fantastic. It's got lots of different amperes and voltages on the different inputs, which if you're adding more pedals on your board, you're going to need, so it does that brilliantly. And then the board in order, so first inputs into the volume pedal, which is a Fender volume pedal, passive pedal, which is just nice for being able to cut away to silence and bring in swells and all nice ambient effects and stuff like that. And the feature of it that I really liked is it's got a line out to the tuner, so you see the tuners flashing all the time. I can have my tuner on all the time, which is just great for mid-song. If you're thinking something sounds a little bit out, it's telling you which notes are out where.
And then you're just cutting the volume with your volume.
Cut the volume and tune quickly. Also, if you want to do some really weird effects, if you want to change in the song and do weird things where you detune a guitar in a song, you can actually see where you're detuning to, which is
detuning it to a proper tune.
Yeah, which is it's good. It gives a bit of control in that. And then we run into the overdrive stages. So starting with the Tube Screamer. Kind of the stock of a lot of paddle boards these days, Tube Screamer. I've got that set to a really nice warm crunch sound. And then it's got the Tube Screamer I went for. It's got a boost function. You can put the boost before or after the gain. I've put it afterwards, so if I'm on that sort of light crunchy sound, I can hit the boost and it'll just step up nicely into a little bit of volume for a little bit of solo boost. And then it runs into the Strymon Sunset, which is a digital overdrive pedal it does a world of things. I'm using it for sort of a Texas overdrive, sort of boutique sound for the first drive, and then a high gain, more like a Mesa Boogie or something like that for the second stage. And what I really like about this pedal is the two sides. You can run them parallel or you can run them in chains, the one runs into the other. So I've got the Texas running into the high gain, so you can go to a real level of sort of overdrive for the heavy sections we use in the songs. But also the flexibility of the Tube Screamer, I can use the boost to add to signal before I go into the Strymon. So I've got a whole collection of different overdrive tones I can get without twiddling knobs mid-song. I can just go from one to the other.
And you've got some presets on the Strymon Sunset?
Yeah, so it's set up so it's A and B, so wherever the knobs are dialed into, as you hit A, that's what it hits through, and the same for B, or you can run them both at the same time, so you can tap through and change the sounds that you've got. Then start to move into some of the effects. So next I go into the Blue Sky, which is a reverb pedal, again by Strymon. Love this pedal. I've got a real sort of room reverb sound, quite thick sounding, think playing in a church or something like that, which is really nice on sort of the slow clean sections that we do. Just adds a lot of warmth to the signal. And then it comes with a favourite function as well, so you can move the knobs around and find something that you like. Again, it's a room sound, but with just a lot of decay on it. Quite a bit of pre-delay, so that after the dry signal you've got a lot of reverb coming in afterwards.
Yeah.
Use it a lot for just long-term ambience, great at the end of songs for just something just to play on out. Then after that we go into the delay, which is the Line 6 DL4. I've still got one that's working, which I understand is a rarity. I've had it a very long time. It's simple to use, which is probably what I like about it the most. And it does great sounds, so I just run a mixture of either sort of slow repeats or quick repeats. I've got a digital quick repeat, a digital slow repeat, and then I've got a nice tape echo sound as well, which I use a lot again for the ambient stuff. It just sounds a lot warmer. That little bit of fuzziness that you get in the delays really gives some character to it. And then the last pedal on the board after that goes into the MXR Phase 90, which I've had for a long time. I just use it in little bits here and there. It's just nice on some little clean picking sections. Really? Yeah, it's not a frequent user on the board, but occasionally just got little phrases or bits in songs where it just adds something a little bit interesting. Or if you get to the end of a song and you're playing live and you want to make the sound go a little bit crazier still, it's a great thing to add on while you're strumming the guitar out at the end of a set. And yeah, that's it then, out to the amp from there.
And just talk quickly about your amp that you use, because we haven't got that here today, but you've got your orange switch pedal there.
Yeah, so I've got the orange 30 head, the 30 watt, so the switch pedal's there. I don't generally play in live, I don't use the switchable ability, so I use the clean tone of the amp.
Yeah.
I've got my overdrives on the board. I just love the clean tone of that amp, it's so sweet sounding. I keep the foot switch on the board and available and plugged in, just on that. If anything goes horrifically wrong live, and the pedals aren't working, I've still got a clean and an overdrive. I can finish the set, which is the logic to it. And the overdrive on the amp sounds wonderful, but it's just, I've got so much more flexibility using the Tube Screamer and the Strymon that I prefer to use those and what that adds, and they react so nicely to the valves and the orange head. Okay,
cool. Shall we hear a little bit of some of your pedals? And we're going straight into the DAW on my computer for this, because my amp is currently out of action, let's say. So with no alternative, we're going straight in. So everything you hear now is going straight into the computer.
Okay, so starting, so said we've got clean tone on the amp normally. It's just giving all the warmth. Then starting with the Tube Screamer's got sort of the lightest gain, so that's set up so it's just giving an early sort of break up crunch noise. And then with the valve, the more you attack, the more it breaks up. And then if you need to punch in for, as I say, a bit of a lead line or something, then we've got the boost on it, so drives a little bit harder. You get a bit of volume with it as well. Then the first at the Strymon, I use the Texas sound. Drives at just past 12 o'clock, so this is used for a lot of sort of the faster strumming work that you can hear on the EP. This is just sort of the stock overdrive sound. It's just a bit more than the Tube Screamer, but not loads. And then I use the high gain on B, which is got a lot more to it in its bite. A bit more like a Mesa Boogie sort of rectifier sort of sound going on with it. And then nicely, if you go into sort of any palm muting work or anything, you can, the Strymon say you can run the two into each other, so it just sort of drives through a lot more. Effect wise, the Blue Sky, use it for a lot of sort of ambient effect. And it just gives that real nice, you can just, exactly what you want a reverb pedal to do, and I just think for me this pedal is just one of the best ones out there for it, of just giving that ambience. And then the favourite on it is just, you can hear it straight away. So if you're doing something slower like that where you just really want it to, there's enough there of the dry signal to hear the original notes, but just loads of ambience over it.
I just play for an hour with that sound.
Yeah, I do. Probably the rest of the guys in the band would testify. I probably use it too much in the practice room, but there is just something about it where you just pick out a chord and you just sit back and listen to it.
Brilliant.
So the Line 6, the delays. So I've effectively, in terms of sound, there's probably not much to pick from these two in the types of delay. They're both just sort of a slow picked. It's just quite a slow repeat for slow work like that, which sounds nice. That's on the digital sound, so it's quite clinical. So just playing a piece like that on its own, I wouldn't use that sound. But when you're adding either a bit of drive to it, if you're going a bit higher, then because the drive's breaking up the sound, I like the delay to be quite clinical in the first place.
Okay.
So it's not too fuzzy. If I was just using a clean tone, then I tend to use the tape sound, which has just got, for me, a warmer feel to it. And it's just, you can just see it here that the repeats are just breaking up a little bit, and it's that sort of analog feel to it, which I like. And then for quicker delay stuff, just a real sort of fast repeat for those drawn out notes that you want to do. And they're
the 3 settings you use for that at the moment.
Yeah, they're the 3 safe settings. You've got the tap tempo on it, so depending on the track, you can change the tap just before you get going. Use your 4 count, whatever it is that you need when you're in there, just to get it to the right tempo for the sound, that particular track that you're playing. But those are the stock 3. I don't really tend to mid-set change it to anything else.
In case it breaks.
Yeah, it's just, well, there is that. You don't want it to break, and it just keeps it simpler. And then the last effect on the board, the Phase 90, I use with minimal speed, and again, it's just for something. You just hit a little fraction, so not much of it. I mean, it will do a lot more than that, but it fits in nicely if you're doing something that's a bit quicker picking. It's just its own a weird little effect. Yeah, colour, that's a great way to describe it. And that's it, out to the amp.
Cool. Just tell us a bit about the band you're playing with.
So playing the band called Between Static and Silence. We put out our debut EP March last year. We're just busy recording now.
What's it called?
The EP, Step Into the Flames.
Can't remember. Cool. So we'll put all the links in the description underneath the video. What are you doing now?
Writing. So we hope to be back in the studio later on this year.
Yeah.
So doing the same things we did last time, collection of songs together, and then pick the ones we like the most.
Cool. And that's all available on?
All the usual, so iTunes, Spotify, Deezer,
yeah,
Google Play, anything else you can think of.
All the right places.
It's there, yeah.
Cool. So are we okay to catch up with you down the line and see how your board evolves?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Right, John, thanks for joining us today.
No worries, cheers, Bob.